Hi, I'm Farah Danish. Welcome to my Calm Autism Mom podcast. I'm a certified brain gym movement facilitator, former special educator, and a mindset coach. Through my podcast, I bring together parents, experts from educational, psychology, and medical communities to share innovative insights on parenting and supporting individuals on the spectrum. My mission is simple: to continuously learn and share the latest autism-related news and strategies, bringing you powerful conversations and practical solutions you can use right now. So, if you're an autism mom searching for answers, support, or just some real inspiration, you're in exactly the right place, my friend. Let's transform your autism parenting journey starting right now. Today, I'm joined by a remarkable guest, Dr. Sujata, a former pathologist from Bellary, Karnataka, whose life took an unexpected turn when her son was diagnosed with autism. Instead of letting his challenge define their lives, she chose to transform it into a mission. Leaving behind her established medical career and home, she embarked on a journey seeking answers to help her child. That quest led Dr. Sujata to become a certified brain gym movement facilitator, but she didn't stop there. Her dedication drove her to pursue multiple certifications, including movement-based learning and rhythmic movement therapy, specifically focusing on retained primitive reflexes. Through her unwavering determination, she discovered the profound impact of body movement and rhythmic techniques, opening new doors of advancement, not just for her child, but also for herself. Let's hear her inspiring story. Hello, Dr. Sujata. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I am so privileged and honored that you took time out. I understand you're an extremely busy mom. And, the number of things that you've got on your plate, and to take time out to be with me here, I'm very grateful. Thank you once again.
Most welcome, and thank you for inviting me for this podcast. Thank you very much.
So I just want to quickly let my moms know how I know Dr. Sujata. Dr. Sujata and I were in one of the courses of Brain Gym together, and her knowledge, her background, it helps that she's in the medical field, obviously, but her background brought so much insight into the whole Brain Gym, course that we did, the 7 educate dimensions, right? And I just thought that she's a mom that I definitely want to get in touch with. And I definitely want to showcase her to other moms out there who may lack motivation, may have those moments where they're feeling like, nothing's working for them. But, hearing stories from moms like Dr. Sujata on perseverance is something that I think we can all benefit from. So once again, let's start with, the simple question we all want to know, that what did you see in your child that made you feel that something is not right? And by what age was that?
First thing, what I noticed was actually all his milestones were correct, and I also actually didn't pay much of an importance. Like I didn't know the importance of like all the milestones have to be there and all. I have been a doctor, but we didn't study about all these things. Now, retrospectively, when I think he has missed the creeping phase, that is like commando crawling phase. Like he used to crawl, but he has never done that commando crawl. Like that phase is missing in his developmental stage. Otherwise, he was a very sweet child, and he was like he used to understand everything, and he was very cooperative. He used to speak, but it was all like he used to repeat everything. His name is Rujan. I used to ask him, "What is your name?" He used to say, "What is your name?"
What's your name?
Please tell me. Like I used to laugh. See, he's not telling his name, but he's just making fun of me. I used to feel that only.
Okay. Obviously, you didn't understand
I didn't understand the severity of that thing that at that moment actually.
Right.
And he used to play, but not much and no much movement. And I didn't realize like I'm having an elder daughter, but she was quite active, but I felt that something is missing. But he was okay. Like he used to learn everything. He used to tell everything. So it was okay. Like
When you
pointing out everything was good. But at around 2.5 years, there was no much speech development.
and
That time,
movement thing, because he wasn't moving much either. You just
huh,
mentioned that.
like when I used to put him on I used to spread one blanket or a carpet down, and I used to make him like, come on, move. That movement was not there much movement. Now, when I retrospectively think, he used to not move much, but crawling was good. But no commando crawl phase was totally missing. That phase was missing. And at around 2.5 years of age, I noticed that there is no speech development. So, uh, in India, here in Mysuru, we have All India Institute of Speech and Hearing Center.
Okay.
So, we took him there for consultation. And that time, he was diagnosed as PDD-NOS, that is pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
from there, our journey started. And
Wow.
then,
And
uh,
can you walk us through, Dr. Sujata, like after the diagnosis? I know you've made some big shifts in your life to help
yes,
your son. Can you talk about that?
at that moment, we didn't know what is autism or what is this PDD, NOS, ASD, all these, totally not aware of all these things. And what the consultant told us, like, you have to do some OT, you have to do speech therapy, and you have to teach him, like, what is his name and all. I thought, it is very simple. Like, I can teach all this. I've done that for my daughter. And when it started, that time I realized, and that time I was practicing also. And at our place, I was living in a town named Ballari in Karnataka. It is not a very big place, and we don't have much facilities. We
Mm.
had one speech therapist. That was my routine. Like every day in the evening, before going to the hospital, I was to drop into the speech therapist and coming back, picking up. And
Yeah.
only that much, nothing else. And OT and all, I didn't know anything about it.
So you
And
moved from Karnataka to
in Karnataka only, there is another place, Mysuru.
Mysuru.
Here we have this speech, this here All India Institute of Speech and Hearing Center. We used to regularly visit to that place, and they used to give us like a goal and everything. And at one instant, the psychologist told me that if you really want to see any development in your son, you need to shift here to Mysuru.
Wow.
So
That
he
must have been a
was,
big
yes,
change.
yes, and he was 6 at that time. He was speaking, but again not to up to the mark. And academics was at least totally, like, it was very difficult thing for us. And that instant we took the decision, like, we need to shift to Mysuru. And I shifted along with my daughter and my son to this place. And now it is past 10 years now. I'm here now. He's 16.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a long journey.
Yeah,
And
very.
I know you're another Ranger mom. You're a fellow Ranger mom.
Yeah.
What did you notice was missing from all those interventions that you were doing that led you into brain gym and primitive reflexes?
That is like, initially I used to take him to an OT center, occupational therapist to occupational therapist. And they used to do like give some activities. And I used to do it every day regularly, very sincerely. And whenever I used to discuss any issue, they used to say, it is vestibular issue, it is sensory issue. And I
Oh my
really, what
God,
is
yeah.
this vestibular issue? What is this sensory issue? And no one used to give me any, like, the solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Only it was like they used to just neglect it, saying it is just vestibular issue, it is sensory issue. And I was like, and once I asked the therapist also, does this vestibular issue get solved any time in life? Then he said, no. Then I said, what am I doing this nonsense every regularly? And I'm doing this, paying so much of money, and what is this? I was like, I didn't know what to do.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay.
And that time I started watching YouTube videos and everything. And the corona also came, and all online, all everything started. And in YouTube I saw lectures on primitive reflexes and everything. And then at that time it was like a bulb which lit in my brain. Like there is a solution and I must work on it. Like that was this.
Oh, that must have given you a lot of hope, especially after hearing that from an occupational therapist, right? That can be so
Yes.
scary. That there's no
Yes.
cure to it, but you're welcome to drop your child off to every
And
day.
once I asked him, I had read somewhere about brain gym, and I asked him, like, does brain gym really help? He has not done brain gym. And he said, no, 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 that is all nonsense and all, he said.
Oh,
And then I started learning about primitive reflexes, reading wherever I get articles and all. And I got to know about rhythmic movement. And uh, that instant I enrolled in the online training that I must get to know. And simultaneously, I was just reading, exploring things. That time I read about Out of Sync Child. And that time, that book named Out of Sync Child. And that time I realized what is a sensory issue, what are the sensory problems and all.
how does
That
it? It's and
and I read Smart Moves While Learning is Not in the Head. That was like awakening, like enlightenment.
oh,
Everything I
it's amazing.
Yes, then I came to know about brain gym, and it was my like good luck or coincidence. I don't know. I came to know about instructor consultant in India, Minaz Ajani. I came to know. I came in contact with her, and she is a very nice lady. She helped me a lot, and at instant I started learning brain gym, touch for health, everything like whatever is there, I was to take, and I was to learn. And rhythmic movement training also I came to know that time, because I am not living in a metropolitan city. uh,
Right.
uh, the RMT courses are held in Mumbai. I came to know, then I went to Mumbai and attended then.
I also heard that you traveled to Malaysia to learn
Yes,
some of your you. Oh wow,
yes. uh,
that's amazing. So you
uh,
are you've done the entire primitive reflex course, or you've just done like school readiness level?
no, I did level 1. That
Mm.
is level 1, level 2. I didn't do and reading and writing I have done. I have not done school readiness. I have done reading this face the fear, reading and writing, and level 1, level 2. Level 1 is for this concentration and everything, this for academic sort of. And level 2 is for this Moro and FPR, like emotions. These
Wow,
many.
that's great. And you also, I remember when we spoke last, you mentioned about noticing your son's eyes, and
Yes.
that give you a completely different insight into, that's not just about moving the body, it was also about how his eye tracking, challenges with his eye tracking were also causing him, issues with focus. Like, can you talk to us about that?
Like that was initially he had a lot of visual issues. Like even if I place one object in front of him and ask him like how many toys are there, how many trains, he likes trains, how many trains are there, he used to say two trains. So I was like, there is one train and he's saying two. Then I used to say just touch and feel and say. Then he used to touch it and say there's one train. For everything, like even if there are two, it used to be like in like how we say that instant he could never do that. And reading was at least that was very difficult for him. Like in these simple words like is and, he used to say is and the this this, and it was very difficult. I used to not understand
He would
how I
break it
was.
up and say it rather than saying the entire word. He would spell it out.
Yes, I used to spell. I've taught him phonics, and he used to phonetically he was very good. He used to understand everything phonic. But when it used to come for reading, it was very tough. Then once I went, I thought that there must be some visual issue, like I must get him refractive refractive error, this checked. So I went to the ophthalmologist, and daily while reading with him, I used to always sit beside him. And
Uh,
so I didn't note anything. But when I went to the ophthalmologist, I was just sitting in front of him and I just observing him. His vision was like normal, 6 by 6. But That instant I noticed that his tracking, both the eyes are in different directions. Like
And
they're
you
not.
tried that. You noticed that.
Yeah, I noticed. And that instant I got to know that this is not his vision, but this is the ocular muscles which are causing the problem.
Because I'm sure when you would have your lessons with your child, he's saying THE, so you know there's not a vision problem. He can see the words.
Ah,
Why his vision not taking the word in its entirety? And
ah,
yeah, and the fact that you sat in front of him, because I've been there, so I know exactly what you're talking about. Where you're like, the eyes are just all over the place. They're not,
yes. Not focused on and not tracking also, always missing the line. That was a very big problem. Then I did like moment based learning. I learned visual tracking activity.
that as well,
Yes,
right?
yes. Eye activation. And I used to do eye activation very regularly. Means with his permission only. I used to ask him like, "Are you willing now?" Then only. Otherwise, no. And along with that, uh, still his tracking is not 100%, but his far better. Now he can count. He can tell directly what is one, what is two. He can count till 10, 15. That is not an issue now. But still that fluency, we have to achieve the fluency. Still that we have to go there. But I have worked quite a lot for that. I have done rhythmic movement exercises, like regularly playing the balloon. Because balloon, it goes very slowly. It helps in tracking.
Oh, you
Uh,
mean you create a balloon and it's like, just with the hand back and
yes,
forth.
it is like tracking, like fun, with fun.
Yeah, yeah, make it fun. That is
Yes,
so
yes.
amazing.
Yes, like,
Right.
and
So
that
yeah.
was also in stages. Like initially, used to not able to hit the balloon like this, so used to just throw catch.
Oh, it was like he just wanted to quickly do it and no,
Ah,
they
he's
don't.
not very well. He was not able to tap also. That time I used to just say, "Come on, we'll just catch." I used to throw a balloon to him, and he used to throw towards me. And gradually, that tapping came, tapping the balloon. Maybe that was some issue with the palmar reflex, something I don't know. Then and this tapping in this direction, it was not there at all. Then I started working on that also. First used to do this tapping, and then I used to say that, come on, you throw it upwards and you only catch. That even one catch was difficult for him. Catching once, like throwing this and catching this was difficult. He was not willing at all. Now he's doing this, and little bit of this also is coming, like this
Wow.
moment.
I have to be honest, Dr. Sujata. As a kid, I used to take tennis classes, and now when I hear you talk, I couldn't do a backhand for to save my life. I just couldn't do it. My coach, my tennis coach, would always be like, that use a backhand for that shot, and I'm like, I can't do it. It's not happening. We
Yes.
at that time, obviously, we
We
don't
don't
think too much about these things. And I know one of my sons, he goes for badminton classes. He can't hit this way. It has to be always this way.
Oh, yes. That
Yeah,
moment is not there.
that movement is not there. So when you said that, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm noticing all these things now. So it's quite interesting. So I mean, I don't want to dwell too much into MBL here because my questions for this
Yes.
podcast are very
Yes.
different. It's more on vision tracking that you just
Yes.
spoke about. But how did MBL help you here? Movement based learning. How did that certification help you here?
In that certification, there is one moment where we have to do eye tracking, placing our hands on specific points on our body.
Okay.
So we have to take the permission of the child every time, and the spot which he chooses, they will place the hand over there, and then tracking is done. And
Yeah.
I did it regularly, very regularly. And even if I do normal tracking, the tracking was not there. But when he used to place his hands over those points, he could track properly.
Like, can you give an example of what that looks like? Like tracking on the body?
Like, for example, this is one spot,
Okay.
like, the clavicle.
Yeah.
So if he says that I'll place my hand over there, now if he's not placing hand over here, he is not able to track properly. But
Oh,
when he used to place his hand over here and do the tracking, that time it was better than the better, quite a lot better.
And
So I
any
did
other spot?
other spot is here. And
Also hold here and then track something which is
yes,
moving in front
yes,
of.
but we have to place the object like from first. It is like from near to far, not from far to near. If it is way too far to near, it is very overwhelming. Like suddenly
Yes,
some object is coming in front. So we have to start from near to far,
being far. Yeah.
uh, and then far to near, then
Okay.
side to side, up and down, diagonally, and circular. This is quite a lot. If we do so much, it is
Sure.
quite a lot.
It is.
Whenever, yes, and whenever they say stop, we need to stop that instant, like it is with their permission itself.
Yeah, and I that is the most difficult thing for us
Yes,
specifically.
we
Us
don't,
Asian moms.
we have to achieve, we think what we want to achieve, and we don't think about where we are at this instant.
Not only where we're at, the whole concept of taking the child's permission is just so unheard of in our culture, Dr. Sujata.
Yes,
I'm sure
we
you'll
need
agree
to,
with me. We're like,
yes,
I'm the mom, I'm the parent, I know what you need right now, and you're going to do it.
yes, and do. It is like that.
It's like
That is,
instruction all the way. It's like
yeah,
the army, military.
yes. But that we need to learn. Like that instant, if they say stop, we need to stop. Otherwise, it
And
won't
respect.
be of any help. They will go in stress, and in fact, it will be worse.
That's interesting that you say that. That if we don't give them that space where they can express whether they want to or they don't want to, and we continue, that can actually stress them out, and we don't really achieve anything, no matter what this therapy, any therapy that you're doing,
Nothing.
you
And
don't
if the
achieve
child even runs away, we must not call the child. We need to pause that instant.
and then ask permission for the child to come
Yes,
back.
again, after a few while, after some time. Otherwise, it won't help at all.
Wow. And you did mention that you would share some of the, and I'll probably insert that in this, some of the exercises that you prepared at home
Yes,
that
and
you
yeah,
do with your child.
this is a board I prepared at foam. This is made from foam. Like this is lazy, that is infinity sign.
Yeah.
Uh,
One sitting right
the
is
yes,
like a picture,
it
but
is
okay.
nearly the width is as much as a body on an average.
Okay.
Uh, and I prepared it on foam. And so what I make do is like put place one more marble in this, and he is moving his hand and tracking it. And it may be for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. But this is a very helpful activity. And before reading also, we can do this prior to reading or teaching anything. Like give him a sip of water and do this, and then start whatever academic or whatever reading or whatever visual activity we are doing. It is very, very helpful. Not only to the eyes, but also to the hands also. Both hands are working together. It is like a double doodle.
Oh, now most of my moms, they don't know what a double doodle is, so
Yeah.
we'll have to slow down. And I understand that we're talking to each other, so we
Yes,
forget.
the story,
Now,
sorry.
yeah. So can you explain how does that exercise, the lazy eight exercise that you just showed with the foam board, how does that help with the eyes, and what skills can you develop with that?
Like in this, the marble is moving in all the direction, like upward, side to side, all the directions. So eye teaming comes, tracking comes, and it uh, and at the same time, that is what I said. Like not only the eyes, and we are taking the permission. So like gradually, it may be for 1 or 2 seconds. He may do the first day.
Yeah.
Second day also. Like after 1 month, it may increase from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So we are strengthening the eye muscles.
Yeah, and like you
And
said in the
simultaneously,
beginning, right, that when he would read, he would skip lines.
so it
It
will
would help.
help all together, like in everything. And
Yeah.
marble is an item, like they play with the marbles. So it is like with fun only. We are not stressing them again.
Yeah, your eyes, all the movements you mentioned, circular,
Yes.
diagonal, right.
All eye movements come in that.
it covers all the movements.
All the movements it covers. So it is very helpful, that one. And we are using moving it with both his hands. So whenever we use both the hands simultaneously, we are using both the hemispheres of our brain.
Yeah.
So we are activating both the sides. So
I had
it is
sorry.
like we
Sorry,
are
please.
using. No, it's okay. So even for eyes also, we are using both the sides of the brain. Even for the whole hand also we are using. So it is very useful exercise.
Yeah, I remember doing this. It's like you follow it one way and then you follow it the other way. So the marble
Yes.
first goes
Yes.
goes to left, and then you shift it. So now the eye has to start tracking it from the other
Yes.
side.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. For me, my experience with that has been that has really helped not just Suleiman, but my other kids actually slow down. Like if they're feeling hyper or overstimulated, that actually makes them slow down because they have to focus on the marbles. And I would keep increasing the number of marbles to up to 5 or 6 marbles, and make sure that they're all going in that order. So that's a fun activity. Now,
Yes.
yes,
And
and
to add to it, we can also ask the child to place his finger and trace on the lazy 8.
yes, especially for handwriting, not just
Yes.
reading.
Yes, not reading, but before handwriting, they can do that.
I've also heard it helps with children who are dyslexic or
Yes.
individuals who are dyslexic
Yes.
because they have challenges with understanding. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not good at explaining this, but for a dyslexic person like B, P,
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
D.
letter reversal, it will help.
It helps.
Side to side, up and down also.
Yeah, yeah.
Up
So
and
how
down is like M and W, B and T, P and Q. All this it will help.
right? What have you seen a bigger difference after you applied all these other techniques related to primitive reflex and brain jump as compared to the time when your son was just doing occupational therapy?
The main thing, what difference I've seen is like initially is to work only on his cognitive skills. Now I understood that we have to work more on gross motor, then fine motor, and then cognition will come by itself. So
Wow, that's powerful.
yeah.
That's amazing.
And after doing this, like means he's more emotionally controlled. He's understanding better, which was not there before. Like always going in that alarm phase or that stress phase. That was a lot before. Now also it is there. It is not going to go like this, but consistency is the key over here. It will not happen in a jiffy. Like it takes long time for the neurons to develop. We have to understand that they are not having a means the problem is developmental delay, and we once in a while we must try and write with the left hand, and that time we will understand what difficulty it is, or do some work with the left hand, that how it is difficult for us to do something when we
Yeah.
are not doing with a dominant hand, like so.
Oh my. Yeah.
Theirs is like they have not yet developed. We have to understand the situation. We must not expect. We have to be where they are and gradually reach the goal. Not like think about the goal always and like you do that.
Yeah. The word we like to use is that they're lazy or they're being naughty and they're showing behavioral challenges. And I have always in my coaching sessions explained this to mom that if a child could, he would, you know.
Yes.
And I love how you just mentioned that, put yourself in the child's place. When we are faced with something really difficult, we try to, our brain, in fact, tells us to, don't do it. Like our brain's job is to protect us and conserve energy, right? It's the
Yes.
same with them. Their
Yes.
brain is telling them the same thing. That protect yourself, conserve your energy.
Yes.
It doesn't understand what is right and wrong at that time.
Yes. And every child wants to make their parents happy. It is not that they want to make us unhappy. We have to understand their situation.
Yeah,
And
that's
never
beautiful.
show that stress. If we are stressed, the child will get stressed. So whatever it is, learn to be like calm. It is very difficult. Definitely it is very hard, but we cannot help it.
Yeah. And that's why just before we started the podcast, we were talking about how we moms, and I'm so grateful for this community that I've come across, the Brain community, because most of them are not only just moms like you, there are other professionals who understand and who respect the fact that it, that an individual is a person, not just a project or an assignment to do. The whole idea of respecting their emotions, respecting their space, touch them if they allow you to touch. That is something that I don't think I experienced with. And Suleiman went to some of the best occupational therapists, best speech therapists. I didn't see that. I didn't see this, uh, the whole idea of, let's respect the child's needs and move in a pace that works for the child. It was always a therapist led rather than child led. Yes. So, Dr. Sujata, you mentioned some of these exercises that you devised at home to make it fun, like especially the balloon one. I love that. And how you made this out of a foam board, the Lazy Eight.
Yes.
Right. I understand that if a mom cannot make one on a foam board for whatever reason, she can always just have a huge chart with the Lazy Eight drawn on it so that the child can at least practice tracing it and tracking while he's tracing it or while they're tracing it, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, how would you work on, and I know you talked about balloon, but what other things, can you walk us through some other things that you might have done with your child that you felt was fun and you saw improvements there as well?
Other things were like us to suspend one ball and he used
Okay.
to hit with his hand. And after a few days, he started hitting with a table tennis racket. Once in a while, he sits in a swing and hits the ball. So it is like vestibular stimulation simultaneously as well as playing. That he
That
does
is
now.
so
He does
cool.
that. He sits in a swing and he keeps on hitting the ball. That is
Right.
one.
So, what do you suspend it from?
I've suspended on in the door, like
Oh, the
uh,
door. Okay, so it
yes,
drops down
yes,
and
yes. We get in India, cricket is very popular, so we get those kinds of balls. So
oh, you get those balls, the suspended
yes,
balls?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I would imagine you would get it here as well in Dubai. I'm actually going to look that up. That
If
is
you
so
have
much
decathlon
for me.
stores over there,
Lovely. Another tool which I love from Decathlon is, and I don't know if you've ever had the chance to use it, Dr. Sujata, there's those ladders for
yes, yes.
that's the
Okay.
ladder drill
I
exercises.
yes, yes, yes.
That has really, really helped Suleiman like tremendously. And we came across this in Malaysia. His personal trainer, who had a primitive reflex background,
Yes,
she used to make him do these ladder drill exercises.
yes, that is very helpful.
Very helpful. And even now, I mean, there's been a long gap, and now I'm trying to bring him back to it because that's something he only does with me, not with his father. So whenever we remember to, and I see him now again struggling a little bit. So what you can actually see what's going on in their head. That those pathways that we just spoke about, that's not yet formed or it's
Yes,
not yet concrete enough. All good?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, Dr. Sujata, this has been absolutely lovely. Thank you so much. Just to end this off and just to wrap everything up, because there's
Yes.
so much even I've learned right now sitting with you. What advice would you give to moms who are starting this journey? Like, where should they start? What should they be like? Imagine if I'm a mom of a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old who's just been diagnosed. What are the things that I should be noticing? Because clearly, occupational therapists and speech therapists are missing out on some really key components, which, I mean, as you have yourself experienced personally, was where the real gap was, the real hole, right? The missing piece. And
Yes.
how, your simple noticing opened the door to,
Yes.
more complex things that were hidden. It was like literally like the tip of the iceberg that you were not
Yes.
seeing before and you
Yes.
are now. So where should they start? What advice would you give them?
Starting is we have to understand our kids' problem, respect them, and what we have to notice where the child is and what the child wants. If the child wants to play something and you don't want it, like you have to come back, step backwards and
Uh,
respect the child. Like, okay, you go ahead. And for any exercise or any activity, we have to take permission of the child. Then only we have to do it and stop when the child wants to stop. And if there are many activities, we can do like take a take picture of different activities, make a collage, ask the child, like if the child is non-verbal, see where the child, at which activity the child is looking. We can understand that the child is wants this activity and then go for it. If the child is verbal, the child will surely ask. But definitely when we respect the child, we are understanding, it will develop a proper connection with the child, and the child will also enjoy our company.
And what would you say a mom who, because I do get that a lot, moms who say, oh, but my child is miserable all the time. I don't even know how to work with him.
At that time, we need to first calm ourselves.
And not
See,
take it personally.
yes,
Yeah.
when we are stressed, the child will mirror us. So first we have to calm, drink water, take deep breaths, calm ourselves. When we are calm, the child will also calm. It is very difficult to remember that when we are stressed, but we need to pause.
We
We
need to
need
learn
to
that
pause.
first before we
Yes,
have
yes, we
start.
need to practice
Children,
this.
we first
And
need to learn how to do all this.
yes, and not to say the same thing again and again. Like when we are saying, come, we do this. Come on, come
Yeah.
here, sit here, sit here, sit here. No, no, no. Only once. Wait for a while and then again. Because that when that signal is going to the brain, it will get interrupted when you say it again. Then again it will start. That circuit, that signal will not pass only. So
If we
don't
have
have to.
process, they need some time to
Yes.
process
It,
what you're
they
doing.
are having slow processing. So we need to give them time.
Oh, that's really beautiful. Thank you so much again, Dr. Sujata. It was absolutely wonderful having you here, and it was an eye-opening session. Even though there's so many things that I've done in Brain Gym, I'm so lucky to have come across you. Thank you once
Thank
again.
you very much. Thank you for calling me. Thank you very much.